prior to coming here, I was in a very prescriptive, rigid school system overseas, the British school system, which is very exam driven. And one does not detour from the curriculum ever. And I didn't like that at all. And so when thinking about returning to Canada, what appeals to me is the flexibility of the Canadian curriculum, and also the fact that you can use garden learning. You can incorporate building skills and competencies however you want to do that. If your outcomes are the same, you can get there however you want. The tricky part is the assessment part. And in Canada, there's so much flexibility because we don't have a fraction of the high stakes gatekeeping exams that most countries in the world do have. The whole perception and reputation of teachers in Canada is that they're professionals and that their professional judgment should be respected. And it is, for the most part, it's respected. There's very little perceived need to have somebody checking over the shoulders all the time. And so once somebody's trained as a teacher, it's assumed that they're going to use their professional judgment to create lessons, to create learning opportunities, and to assess them properly. Then I went into a system where it's, almost every single learning outcome is prescribed, and teachers move in lockstep to do it. And the assessment is mostly exam-based, identical exams at identical times. And it's just, I see students who either engage in that because they're being driven to, and they know because they're in that system that a gate will swing shut. If they don't do well on their exams, they will not get into the next step that they need to get into to go on to further education. They know that. Their opportunities end. And so their motivation is to study and do well, not because they're engaged or interested, because they need to. Those who are not quite that responsible just fall through the cracks because they don't want to study for 5 hours a day, every day, for exams. So I see them going through this machine, this high stakes, so incredibly stressful machine, to come out at the end with marks, A's, B's. And then I look at the counterparts over here in British Columbia who are doing things in a completely different way and coming out with the A's and the B's. And they're applying to the same universities or the same places in many cases. They get to the exact same point, but without that machine, the exam machine. You don't need it to get to the same place. Actually, a student can learn without a prescriptive curriculum by assessing the needs and without an exam. Why is it important to trust teachers? To give them the freedom and flexibility to design learning for their students because they know their students best. They're all different. They all have different needs. You can't prescribe something from the outside. You trust the judgment of the person who's working with them. Otherwise, you get a program that's meant to be a one-size-fits-all that doesn't fit anybody. It's very easy to work in an institution where you have a prescriptive plan that you follow step by step. You've got your exam that you give. That's super easy. You don't have to think. There's a huge change that I've seen in the past because I've been away for 12 years. The fact that it's generally known that, of course, curriculum should be indigenized. Of course, there should be a truth and reconciliation process. Of course. It wasn't like that before, obviously. But I see it happening now, which is encouraging. I chose to come here because of the garden and because of the hot lunch program and because of the emphasis on growing food outdoors. I like to be back in a place where teacher professional judgment is respected. It's so exciting. This is contagious excitement.